Over 2.4 million people live throughout the greater Sacramento region, and when people are planning to move here, the same question comes up every single time. Lance, what is the best place to live in Sacramento? And here's what we've learned after helping hundreds of people just like you who have reached out from the YouTube channel. The question is actually the wrong question entirely. Sacramento isn't just one place, it's 10 completely different versions of California life, all sitting within about an hour of each other. Some of them feel like you've never left the suburbs, some of them feel like majestical small foothill towns where you can go camping and fishing all within 10 minutes. Some feel like you can spend every weekend outside and never run out of things to do. The one that's right for you depends entirely on how you want to live. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you 10 different versions that we see most commonly from you guys relocating from out of area, out of state, and heck, even out of the country. And I saved number one for the very end of where I'm at right now. This city keeps coming out on top no matter who we're talking to, no matter what lifestyle they're really wanting. So stick around because that one's definitely worth the wait. Now, as you can see from my attire today, we've got a super fun one for you, but before you start Googling houses or falling in love with a listing, it actually helps to understand what each of these areas feels like to live in. So not the stats, not the this town was founded in 1860, blah, 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 the Saturday mornings, the weekend routine, the weekday routine, the kind of life that gets built around the place. I've watched hundreds of people come in and completely lock in on one city, spend a weekend exploring, and completely change their entire search. Not because the first choice was bad, but because they found something that just fit better. We have all of these conversations all the time. The discovery process of moving to a new area is sometimes a process of elimination. We ask you lots of questions, and if you tell us 2 or 3 things about what you really like, what you like to do, about what your family likes to do, we can probably rule out 97% of the areas that we'll be featuring on this video that will be an absolute horrible fit. Now, kicking off this list at number 10 is going to be a place that genuinely surprises a lot of people when they first discover it, specifically Placerville. We're going to be out at my favorite place, which is going to be Apple Hill, specifically at Boa Vista Orchards up at the top of Carson Road. Now, Lauren's not going to be in this video, but between you and me, I didn't eat a bunch of apple fritters today. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but we're not going to tell her that because she is out of town this week. So Placerville is going to be about 45 minutes east of Sacramento, right along Highway 50. And the second you get out here, the entire vibe, the entire feel of Placerville just changes. You've got rolling hills, you've got some wineries back there behind me. You've got historic Main Street that's going to be lined with real local spots. You're not going to have a chain thing in sight, a chain restaurant, a chain, you know, you do have some stuff, but not really the typical same old, same old. So you have the independent restaurant, you got Timmy's Brown Bag, you got Placerville Public House, places that have been here for years and they actually keep coming back for more. And then again, Apple Hill, one of my favorite places all year long. It's a little hot today, but I specifically love coming up here in the fall. You've got pumpkin patches that are usually back behind us. You've got family farms, you've got pick your own Christmas tree after Thanksgiving, orchards, wineries, seasonal spots. You can actually come up here you know, Monday through Friday. Boa Vista is actually only closed 2 days out of the year, and you actually can come up. They've got fresh fruit, veggies, orchards, wineries, seasonal spots. Especially when you come up here in the fall, in the winter time, you'll see a line off of Highway 50 to come to Apple Hill. So Monday through Friday, it's a little bit more chill, but Saturday and Sunday, get up here early because it's going to be one of those things that is definitely fun, but the traffic can suck because it's literally a 2-lane road in, one road out. Now, if you live in Placerville, this is going to be in your backyard. But the other thing that I really love about Placerville is you are just minutes away from hiking, fishing, camping. This is on the 50 freeway, so you've got South Lake Tahoe that's just up the road. You got Sierra Tahoe, the ski resort closer to Heavenly, closer to Kirkwood on this side. But the lifestyle here is built around the outdoors and the foothills, and it definitely shows. Now, keep in mind, in this perspective of that we're talking about for this video, some of the trade-offs for living in Placerville, or if you're thinking about moving up here, or you want to know a little bit more information, the commute into Sacramento is going to suck. Longer, it definitely is going to be much more of a drive. The big retail is going to be limited out here. You're not really going to have options for new construction. But that's kind of the whole point. That's kind of the whole vibe of Placerville. So if you want small town charm, you want outdoor access, things like Apple Hill and a slower pace that actually sticks, Placerville is definitely going to be that lifestyle that you won't find anywhere else in this region. Now, real quick before we keep going, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Lance and my wife Lauren and I run the Living in Sacramento team and YouTube channel where we make these videos about what it's really like living, moving, and relocating to the Sacramento and surrounding areas. So we've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes right here in the greater Sacramento metro. You tell us 1 or 2 or 3 things that you like or don't like, and we'll be able to find you the exact spot that will fit for your lifestyle, fit for your family, what you really like to do. So we drop videos every single week so you have real boots on the ground info to make the best decision possible for you and your family. And on top of making these videos, Lauren and I are also licensed real estate agents in the state of California, which means that as much as we love making these videos, we actually love helping you more with all of your real estate needs. So that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, or better yet, scan that QR code so you can book your one-on-one strategy call. We'll put together the best game plan for making the move to the greater Sacramento metro. Like I said, we'll ask you 2 or 3 questions. We know every single area like the back of our hand. We'll tell you the areas that work, the areas that may not work for your family, the things that you like, the things that you don't like. You'll be able to rule out about 97% of the areas that we're getting ready to talk about in this video. So give us a phone call, shoot us a text. We got your back when it comes to moving to the Sacramento metro. All right, now number 9 on the list is going to be Auburn, California. Now this is going to be about 35 minutes northeast of Sacramento, right at the base of the Sierra foothills. Now, Auburn's going to be one of those places where people visit and they end up spending the next few years trying to figure out how to move there. So if you haven't been up to Auburn, I'm actually at my other favorite place. We talked about Apple Hill before this, but I'm actually at Taco Tree, which is Auburn's secret hidden gem. If you ever come to Auburn, don't go to any of those other places. Come over here to Taco Tree. They have it over here by the high school. There's another one down Highway 49, but Old Town and downtown Auburn just feel a little bit different. So you've got tons of Gold Rush history here that you can actually see. Lots of locally owned restaurants, coffee shops, boutiques, wine tasting rooms. Some of our favorite places are up here. You've got Old Town Pizza. You've got Poor Choice, which is over in kind of the Old Town area where you can kind of see that miner off of Highway 80. You have year-round farmers markets, live music in the downtown area, community events, and a downtown that actually feels more alive. So places like Auburn Ale House, Monkey Cat, Poor Choice, like I talked about, Iketta's, which was just named one of the top pie places in the entire country. They've got some awesome sandwiches if you just don't feel like having desserts, but that's also going to be off of Highway 80. And all of these are local staples. Now, these aren't just spots that look good online. These are actually places that people come every week. Lauren and I don't even live in Auburn, and we come up specifically just for Taco Tree, or specifically just for Poor Choice, or specifically just for Iketta's. Now, one of the other things that sets itself apart from all of the other suburbs that we've talked about on this channel is going to be your proximity to outdoor access. Now, I'm personally a little bit more of an 80 corridor guy myself, so I love all of the different things off of Highway 80. I like North Lake Tahoe, I like North Star, I like, the ski resorts off of Highway 80, but specifically, the proximity to camping, fishing. You can go dirt bike riding up here. You can be on a trail and go mountain bike riding. So part of the video between Placerville and Auburn, where I showed you guys some of that B-roll of the confluence and the North Fork of the American River, there's a lot of different mountain bike trails and trailheads that you can get lost on, 11-mile trailheads out in Forest Hill. So you're right next to Auburn State Recreational Area, is one of the premier outdoor destinations in all of Northern California. Like I said, hiking, mountain biking, trail running, rafting, kayaking, fishing, camping. Both of these 2 cities that we talked about in number 10 and number 9 are both great for outdoor activities. People specifically move here because of the lifestyle that they're trying to live. You want to shorten your distance to Lake Tahoe in the wintertime for snowboarding or skiing. You want to be within 10 minutes to a trailhead, or you want to be within 10 minutes from a lake. Oh, in Auburn, they also have the Gold Country Fairgrounds, which is awesome. They have different little rodeo events. So the nice thing about Auburn is, you can get here on the weekend and you can experience all the different stuff if you're in a Roseville or a Rockland or a Lincoln or somewhere off I-80. But if you're living up here, it's not a typical weekend trip. That's a Tuesday for a lot of people. So, again, similar trade-offs to Placerville. Trade-offs, the commute is going to be longer. The retail is going to be a little bit more limited than some of your suburbs like Roseville and Rockland and Lincoln, but I will say you do have a lot more stuff in Auburn, and specifically North Auburn. So you do have a lot more stuff, but like I said, trade-offs, the commute's going to be longer, your retail is going to be a little bit more limited, and there's not going to be as much large-scale new construction up here. So you do have a couple of little small boutique builders that are building high-end luxury properties, but if you're looking for outdoors, if you're looking for historic character, and if you're looking for foothill living, living that's calling you, Auburn is definitely worth the drive, and it's worth the lifestyle up here. You have some really beautiful Northern California area that I think a lot of people don't really associate with the Sacramento Metro, but it's definitely awesome. So, all right, so that's the foothill side. We're gonna be heading back towards the Sacramento Metro because the next 3 on this list are gonna be ones that people consistently overlook on their first search. We're gonna be talking about places like Natomas, places like Lincoln, Rancho Cordova. They don't get some of the same headlines as Folsom and Roseville, but they're still amazing cities that people are consistently looking. Now, drop it down in the comment below, especially if you come up here to Taco Tree. Let me know. I love supporting local businesses. And then the main question is, do you tilt your head for the taco or do you turn the taco for your mouth? All right, now switching gears a little bit, we are gonna head over to the map and we are gonna start talking about some of these other suburbs that we've featured on the channel. Now, real quick, some of that B-roll that you guys saw for the distance between Placerville and Auburn, that was gonna be this section of Highway 49. Now, I know a lot of times you guys reach out to us from the channel and you guys don't even really realize that Northern California or places like that in Northern California really exist. So there's a lot of really cool acreage properties, foothill properties, property with acreage if you want like horses or chickens, or if you want to do homesteading. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. You've got Coloma kind of right there, the Marshall Discovery State Park. You got whitewater rafting. You've got a ton of different things you can do. I know when I had a motorcycle, I would go up into Auburn and then I would kind of come into Cool, go all the way down. Sometimes I would go up here to Georgetown, which is also another really cool town. And then I would head over to Placerville and then head back down to kind of the Sacramento Metro area. So stay tuned because in a couple of weeks, we are going to be doing a special small towns video and we're going to be covering a lot of these awesome foothill towns that a lot of people don't really know about. That's not going to be next week's video, but the week after. So stay tuned for that. But jumping back into the map, coming down here into number 8 is going to be Rancho Cordova. Now, Rancho Cordova is going to be the number 8 on this list, and it is consistently one of the most underrated areas in the entire Sacramento region. So this is going to be right along, this is going to be part of that Highway 50 corridor that we talk about with you guys. You're gonna be close to Sacramento, you're gonna be close to Folsom, you're gonna have easy access to the American River Parkway, Lake Natoma. You're not gonna be too far away from Folsom Lake, which is gonna be right up here. And you're gonna have awesome neighborhoods like Anatolia, Sunridge Park, and Cavalla Ranch, and they all have that suburban feel. You've got trails, you've got parks. Specifically, a lot of you guys who reach out to us from the channel, you guys are primarily interested in a lot of the newer construction area that's gonna be kind of in this South Rancho Cordova area, but you're gonna have a lot of really awesome builders, Hovnanian, Woodside, Pulte, Lennar's out there, Richmond American, Beazer, Tri-Point, kind of all the big heavy hitters in the Sacramento region. And some of the homes that you can find in the Rancho Cordova area, you can still find them for under 600 grand. You get a little bit more bang for your buck out here. You get a little bit more land out here. And in this section specifically, you're a part of the Elk Grove Unified School District. So there's a lot of pros to love about this section of Rancho Cordova or Rancho Cordova in general. Now, the other thing that's really cool about Rancho Cordova is you're also gonna have that newer section that's going to be built out here called Braden. And then you're also going to have that parkway that's going to connect you into Folsom, and it's going to connect you down into Elk Grove. Now, moving up a little bit north, you are going to have the American River Parkway that's going to wind all the way through. You're going to have the other developments by Elliott Homes called Rio de Oro. Thousands of homes are going to be planned here. You're going to have a 130-acre regional park, millions of square feet. You're going to have downtown Dova, workspace and commercial space all coming to this area. So for the value, for the location, and for a city that's kind of poised for real growth ahead, Rancho Cordova is one that should be on your list for a lot of people. So a lot of really awesome things coming to that area. I know sometimes people don't really think of it. They primarily think of it for the new construction, but definitely one to keep on your list. Now jumping into area number 7, and this is going to be Natomas. Now, if location and convenience are two of the things that you care the most about, Natomas might actually be the smartest pick. Now, Natomas is still actually considered a part of the Sacramento city limit, as you can kind of see by that red line. It's going to sit just north of downtown Sacramento. It's gonna have a north side and a south side. Now, the thing that I love most about Natomas is going to be quick access to the city. So it's a great opportunity if you need to come in down I-5 and you need to get into Sacramento if you're a state worker or you need close proximity to whatever downtown employment that you have. You also have quick access to the Sacramento International Airport. So that's really nice. A lot of the places in Natomas, you can have a $10 to $15 Uber ride if you're traveling a lot for work. So that combo alone is why a lot of people specifically love to live in the Natomas area. So the North Natomas area is going to be everything that's going to really kind of be on the north side of Interstate 80, master plan communities, parks, shopping centers, trails. South Natomas is going to be everything that's going to be on the south side of Interstate 80. So a little bit more established neighborhoods over here. You are going to be a little bit close to downtown. You're going to be a little bit closer to the river. You've got Garden Highway right over here where you have Chevys on the river. You got crawdads on the river, a lot of really fun stuff to do, especially if you want that river access. You've got Teal Bend, which is actually going to be just a little bit north of the airport. So a lot of really fun things to do. And the thing that people really love about the Natomas area is you have close proximity to downtown Sacramento. Yes, you have close proximity to the airport, but you're also closer proximity to Bay Area work if you have to have that. So, really the biggest thing about the Natomas area is going to be day-to-day living and the genuine convenience of it. So that's kind of the biggest theme that goes along with that. It's a good central spot. You can go a lot of different directions, but specifically if you have to go back into the Bay, you can get on to the train station that's just in the north side of Sacramento, and that takes you into San Francisco as well too. So we have a couple of you guys that have reached out specifically having to work still in the Bay, but not really wanting to pay those Bay prices. So Natomas is a great option for that. You do have a new Topgolf that's coming to the area. You have a new Costco that just got built over here. This is kind of where the old Sacramento Kings Arena used to be. You have the Natomas Marketplace, Sacramento Gateway, the Promenade. You've got grocery, retail, restaurants, coffee, gyms. Everyday errands are going to be right within this section of the city, and you're going to have the Natomas Regional Park, which is going to be right there. We'll just move the red dot over there. So Natomas Regional Park, and that's going to be an awesome gathering spot. We filmed out there a couple of times. They've got awesome parks, trails. There's really kind of a walking trail that goes all the way around the park, which is really nice too. So a little bit newer schools, sports fields, walking path, playgrounds, community events, all of that happens off throughout the year. So I will say, because we've kind of covered this theme for the most part, but trade-offs here is you're not really getting those foothill views that we just showed you at the beginning of this video. So the Placervilles and the Auburns, you're not really going to get some of that. It's definitely true Sacramento suburb. You're not really having super big lots over here. So it is a newer built area. So the lots here are going to be a little bit more average, and you're going to be a little bit farther from some of the outdoor adventure lifestyle that we touched on at the very beginning of this video. So, that stuff is going to be further east, and that's going to be up towards Folsom Lake, Penryn, Auburn, Newcastle, Foothills, Meadow Vista, all that stuff up there. So, you're not getting some of those foothill views, but you are getting close proximity to downtown Sacramento. I would say personally, especially if you have to travel a lot for the airport, if you have to travel a lot for just in fun, you like to travel, I would say the convenience aspect of this area is specifically the Sacramento International Airport, and if you have to go into downtown Sacramento or the Bay Area for work. So, this is a hard section of the Sacramento region that's definitely tough to beat. You get a little bit of that suburban lifestyle, but you're actually pretty close to the core. Now, number 6 on my list today is going to be one of my absolute favorite cities in the entire Sacramento region, and that's going to be up here north, and that's going to be Lincoln. Now, I wasn't able to get out there today. I love Lincoln. I love checking out Lincoln, especially this time of year, 4th of July. Very patriotic. There's tons of stuff to do. You got the 4th of July show that's actually happening down at McBean Park, which is super fun. The Potters play a game on that day, and then they finish the game. You got 4th of July fireworks. In my opinion, some of the best fireworks in the entire Sacramento region. My dad's actually going to be playing some music there on the 4th, so he's got the kind of in the middle of the heat day, the 3 to 5 shift. So not very fun for an old guy, but definitely super cool. They've got tons of different bands. They got a couple of different shifts of bands that play throughout the day. But super fun. I love Lincoln. Lincoln has a very special place. This is where I actually bought my first house when I was 24 or 25, I think, somewhere back in 2007. Not the best time to buy a market, but to back up a little bit, Lincoln is actually going to be about 20 minutes north of Roseville, just off of Highway 65. So Highway 65 runs north past Rockland and Roseville. Now, Lincoln has been one of the fastest growing communities in our area, but it still holds that relaxed small town feel when you look at it. It's different than any other city in Placer County. So you've got up towards the front of Lincoln, you have this kind of like 12 Bridges area. This is going to be a little bit newer area. It kind of butts up to Whitney Ranch. It's a master plan community. Over here to the west, you have another brand new community called Liberty Ranch. That's going to be very similar to Lincoln Crossing. Those three, Liberty Ranch, Lincoln Crossing, and Whitney Ranch, are going to be our three master plan communities that have clubhouses and HOAs and all that fun stuff. Now, Liberty Ranch out here to the west has a lot of new single family homes. There's three different builders out there. You've got Woodside, Richmond American, and Meritage. They've got a brand new clubhouse with over 7,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor amenities, pickleball courts, pool, basketball courts, everything that you can think. It's really a nice community center that if you're moving to a brand new area, you can kind of get to know people really quickly. Lincoln has three 55 plus communities out of a lot of the ones that we featured on the channel in Northern California. The biggest one being Sun City Lincoln Hills. That one's gonna be probably close to about 6,000 residents. It's got two 18-hole golf courses, clubhouses, pools, fitness, pickleball courts, social calendars that honestly makes your retirement look a lot busier than you ever were. You also have Esplanade out here by Turkey Creek. That's that product that we talk about by Taylor Morrison. We've had a lot of you guys, usually your guys are deciding between Sun City Lincoln Hills or Taylor Morrison by Esplanade. Esplanade tends to feel a little bit livelier if you're just in that 55 to 65 range. Sun City's been around since the early 2000s, so some people say it feels a little bit older. You also have out here in this little section, still considered Lincoln, unincorporated Lincoln, but you have Bickford Ranch and you have the Shea Homes by Trilogy. Now, if we zoom out a little bit further and we go into kind of this downtown section, you have Lincoln Boulevard, and that's gonna be where all the stuff happens. So it still has that kind of small town feel. You have local restaurants, you have small businesses, you have a main street that actually has that, you know, feel. You have Old Town Pizza. Up here towards 12 Bridges, you have Orchid Thai, you have Zakuro, you have Sterling Cafe, you have Fork Kitchen. You don't have as many options as it relates to restaurants, but the nice thing about the restaurants that you do have, they've been there for a long time and the community supports them. You have 25 different municipal parks throughout the entire area, lots of trails, 2 high schools, 2 middle schools, a bunch of different elementary schools. You also have a little municipal regional airport out there if you want to get your pilot's license, or heck, if you even want to go skydiving. I've seen people go out there and do that. You have 3 different golf courses. You have 2 at Sun City, you have Turkey Creek, and then you also have a private country club out here at Verdera. So you have a lot of golfing for as small as Lincoln is. Now, I will say the trade-off that bugged me the absolute most about living in Lincoln, especially for most of my younger career, is I worked in the fitness industry and I worked for 24-hour fitness. So Lincoln is up here. I worked in 24 here, and I worked at 24 downtown, and I worked at 24 in Rancho, and there's really not an easy way. So I will say, if you have to drive into downtown, you are definitely going to be farther from downtown. The commute is longer. It's a little bit more arduous, especially that section of Highway 65 sucks, especially on the southbound side. So kind of keep that in mind. It can add. Back when I lived there in 2006, it wasn't really that bad, but with all of the growth in West Roseville and West Rockland and Lincoln and the newer construction, and heck, even some of the people that are moving out to Plumas Lake and Wheatland and Sheridan, the traffic on 65 has gotten a little bit worse. Now, I will say you don't have a Costco up here. You do have a Costco down here in Loomis, which isn't too bad. And your restaurant scene is not as great as something like a Roseville or a Folsom, but a lot of people really like the slower pace, the newer communities, the breathing room. I will say one of the things that is a little pro that I didn't touch on too much, but out here you have kind of like the Placer County Wine and Ale Trail that kind of goes from Lincoln to parts of Auburn, and then you also have some stuff in Roseville, Loomis, and Penryn and all that stuff. So Lincoln's an awesome town. It's one of my favorite, and you have a lot of really cool things. You also have a whole like country aspect of Lincoln out here. So if you wanted properties similar to what we kind of showed you at the beginning of this video, you can find some acreage properties, do some homesteading, raise some chickens, get some cows, all of that fun stuff. Now we're halfway through the video. Go ahead and drop a comment down below which community that we've listed on this has surprised you the most so far, because we have 5 down, we have 5 more to go, and the next 5 are actually where people end up landing the most. So we have Elk Grove, El Dorado Hills, and 3 more that we talked about constantly on this channel where actually people end up the most. So, and those top 3 keep coming out on top in every single conversation. All right, now number 5 on the video, and this one's gonna be south of Sacramento along the Highway 99 and I-5 corridors, and that's going to be Elk Grove down here to the south. Now, Elk Grove is one of our 3 anchor cities that we talk about consistently on the channel. It's one of the top 3 most independent cities as far as amenities, services, healthcare, jobs, things to do, activities. It's the 2nd largest city behind Sacramento. And the best way that I can describe Elk Grove is you can show up on a Saturday morning, you have families at the Elk Grove Regional Park, you have kids playing soccer, you have people walking trails, coffee shops are packed in Old Town. The community energy is really a part of the fabric here. So you have a ton of different community events. Old Town Elk Grove, the kind of rural area, the local restaurants, the community events, the traditional Main Street vibe. It's just a little bit different than some of those newer suburban cities, but you still have some of those options. So you do have some of the newer construction down here towards the south. You have a Sky River Casino. You have a lot of different restaurant options. Boulevard Bistro has probably one of the best restaurants that we've ever gone to. And Interlude Kitchen and Bar is one of the newer dining highlights that a lot of people like. Flatland, Dust Bowl Brewery, McConnell Estates Winery. They're all gonna round out that local brewery scene. Then you have Consumnes CSDs, which manage nearly 100 parks, over 1,000 acres of parks, corridors, and trails. District 56 and the Aquatic Center is now that kind of new community gathering space that we talked about in the last video. You've got the Aquatic Center, you've got slides, you've got jogging trails, fitness areas, public art. It's all there in the gathering. And then you have the Sky River Casino down there at the bottom, which is the entertainment layer that Elk Grove didn't have until a few years ago. So I will say that Elk Grove isn't for everybody, but if you're looking for family forward communities, strong parks, diverse dining, awesome school districts in a city with real momentum, Elk Grove should be on your list. Now let's get back out there. All right, number 4 on our list is going to be El Dorado Hills. Now, El Dorado Hills is gonna be east of Folsom, and the second you drive through this town, it's gonna be an entire vibe shift. Now, I'm down here at Town Center. This is probably one of my favorite parts of El Dorado Hills. You can see all the patriotic flags. We've got the pond over here. There's gonna be 4th of July fireworks here next week, or a couple days, I guess we're end of June, but definitely all patriotic. You've got this cool lake out here. Now, the thing I love about El Dorado Hills is you got the rolling hills, you got the open space, you got the larger homes. Some of the areas you've got views of Folsom Lake or the Sacramento Valley, depending on which side or which direction that you're facing. Usually the people who end up here in El Dorado Hills, they usually want a little bit more space. They still want that luxury vibe and that luxury feel, but they want more space, more quiet, more scenery, a lifestyle that just feels a little bit more removed from the grind. Now, the El Dorado Hills Town Center is definitely gonna be, in my opinion, the heart of this community. You've got restaurants, you've got shops, fitness, local gathering spaces. You've got Milestone Restaurant, which is just across that little pond. You've got a ton of little like walking areas and private trails, and you know, you've got apartments right here, which are actually pretty cool. The cool thing about this area is it's not trying to be one of the other areas. That's kind of the thing that I really love about El Dorado Hills is it's kind of its own vibe, its own feel. It's not trying to be Roseville. It's not trying to be Folsom. It's not trying to be Elk Grove. You know, it's not trying to be Granite Bay. That's kind of the cool thing. But especially here, it's definitely a little bit more residential. It's a little bit more spread out. It's definitely got a more scenic feel for your suburb. More so than, it's not as, you know, foothill as Placer or Auburn, where we were at a little bit earlier in this video, but you're also not as suburban. It's, for me, El Dorado Hills is that perfect middle ground, and it kind of beats, in my opinion, a lot of stuff on this list. Now, Serrano is another one of these areas in El Dorado Hills that is beautiful. You got gated villages, you've got miles of trails, both on the north side and the south side. The north side has the private country club, the championship golf course, around 1,000 acres of open space. The south side is not guard gated, but it's still a gated community where you have tons of trails, miles and miles of trails. You've got killer schools here. And for a majority of El Dorado Hills, you're close to Folsom Lake. You're close to all the trails around Folsom Lake. You've got golf in Folsom, and you've got open space. So the cool thing is the outdoor lifestyle is a part of this community. It's a part that's kind of woven in, it's thoughtfully planned. They do a really good job of making sure that the community is kind of woven into the nature as opposed to demolishing it and bulldozing the nature and then just making it straight suburban. Now, some of the trade-offs, I will say out of the gate, the price points out here are gonna be a lot higher. Some of the neighborhoods are gonna be a lot less walkable. Some of the rural areas could have potential risk for fire insurance, and that's an if. You know, definitely make sure that you check with your insurance agent, definitely make sure that you're getting those quotes. And the fourth one is going to be the commute to downtown Sacramento is going to be probably a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So this is definitely not an area for you if you have frequent trips into downtown Sacramento. That's probably not going to be very conducive to your lifestyle. It's probably also not going to be super conducive if you have to travel a lot via airport, because you're on the opposite side or the opposite corridor away from Sacramento International Airport. But for the space, the views, the lifestyle feel, El Dorado Hills is going to deliver well above its weight class. All right, now number 3 on the list is going to be Rocklin, California. Now this one is going to be neighbors with Roseville. This one's going to be along I-80, and it's going to have access to I-80 and Highway 65. And Rocklin's just one of those cities where everything feels like it's right into place. Established neighborhoods, newer communities like Whitney Ranch, Stanford. You got a ton of cool communities in here, and you have a lifestyle that basically works for families at every stage. And then you've got places like this. You got the Quarry Park Adventures right behind me. You get that giant park. Got some water going on down there, zip lines. It's kind of quiet right now, but now back to Whitney Ranch. So Whitney Ranch has a clubhouse, it's got a pool, it's got fitness amenities, parks, miles of biking, hiking trails. It's all right there in the neighborhood. Then you have shopping centers like Rockland Commons, Rockland Crossings, Blue Oak Town Center. That's always really fun for, like, they've got movie theaters over there, they've got a Crunch Fitness, they've got laser tag at that movie theaters. And you have everything that covers kind of like the day-to-day life. And then Quarry Park. This place is awesome, it's super fun. It's definitely one of those areas that kind of defines Rockland's identity. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about Rockland is like all of the different community aspect things that Rockland does. You know, at Quarry Park, there's a big old amphitheater that's right over there. They just had Joe Nichols playing, you know, putting out blankets and everything. It's super fun. You got Quarry Park Adventures right here, zip lines, climbing, paddle boats. Now, the other thing that I love about Rockland is gonna be all of the restaurants. So we've hit a lot of restaurants today in this video. We've hit Taco Tree. I was up at Apple Hill a little bit earlier today, but in Rockland, you've got Rubio's Restaurante, you've got Bangkok City Thai. I've been going to that Thai place for about 25 years since I was at college. You've got Chef's Table, you've got Painkillers Pub, you've got a Buckhorn Barbecue, you've got Jing Jing Chinese over off of Granite. You have a competitive local dining scene that doesn't ask you to have to drive to Roseville to go get a good meal. Some of the biggest trade-offs, like we've talked about in the other rest of the cities of these videos, the prices in Rockland have climbed, so they are a little bit higher than, you know, maybe what you've seen, you know, 5-10 years ago, especially pre-COVID. For your shopping, your, you know, dining, your healthcare options, you might be going to Roseville for a lot of that stuff, because Roseville is kind of still primarily that anchor city that we've talked about that has the most amount of amenities and the most amount of stuff. But the nice thing about Rockland is, you know, you don't really have to travel outside of your bubble if you don't really want to or you don't really need to. And you are, you know, you're close in proximity, so you've got great access to downtown Sacramento via I-80. Now, before we get to number 2 and number 1, if you're still watching this far into the video and one of these areas is already clicking for you, don't try to figure out the next steps alone. Reach out to us. We help hundreds of families. We can talk you through the areas, talk you through which neighborhoods. We have lived here our entire lives. We know this place like the back of our hands. We can ask you 2 or 3 or 4 questions and know exactly which areas are probably gonna fit your needs, wants, your must-haves, and your deal breakers best. We're gonna walk you through the neighborhoods that make sense, help you build a real plan before you ever book a flight to come out here. So that phone number is gonna be popping up. Call us, text us, scan the QR code, book a strategy call. We've got your back when it comes to making the move to the greater Sacramento Metro, because this conversation, that strategy session or that strategy call always helps clarify things uber fast. Sometimes you guys will struggle on things, or sometimes you guys will try to figure some things out on your own and it takes twice as long. So go ahead, call us. We're heading into the final stretch for these last 2. Number 2 on our list is going to be Roseville. Now, Roseville is going to be about 20 miles northeast of Sacramento. It's one of our 3 major anchor cities that we talk about on the channel all the time, between Elk Grove, Roseville, and that number 1 slot. But right off of Interstate 80, Roseville has grown into one of the most complete cities in all of Northern California. Now, and I'm not talking about just the Sacramento region, I'm talking about all of Northern California. Now, East Roseville has a much more of an established feel. Central Roseville, where I'm at right now, it's got the shopping, it's got the malls, it's got the Westfield Galleria. You do have a lot of stuff here. But East Roseville has that mature, established feel. Mature trees, bigger lots, neighborhoods that have been here long enough and feel settled in. West Roseville is going to be one of the fastest growing parts of the entire city. Newer master plan communities, parks, schools, significant amount of new construction over the last several years. The shopping situation here is genuinely hard to beat over in Central Roseville. You've got the Westfield Galleria Mall behind me, the fountains across the street, and it is the retail destination of the entire Northern California region. Now, in Roseville, you're gonna have different food options like Sienna Restaurant, Rose Park Bistro, Gooseport down on Vernon Street, Moxa Brewing, Nick's Tacos, which has definitely built a reputation of itself outside of Roseville. All right, now one of the differences between Roseville and a lot of other cities is going to be its access to healthcare. Kaiser Permanente, Sutter Roseville Medical Center, both hospitals are right located in the city, which is really nice. So for families, especially those with kids or you have aging parents nearby, healthcare is not a small thing. Then you got places like Mighty Regional Park, Mahaney Park, Miners Ravine Trail, and dozens of other neighborhood parks that keep the outdoor lifestyle extremely strong. Now, home prices have climbed and some corridors do get busy, but the growth has made certain parts feel more dense than they used to. You also have so much to do here. You've got a Topgolf, you've got a water park, you've got 5 different golf courses within the city limits. So for a city that has almost everything dialed in, Roseville earns its top spot at number 2 on this list. And number 1 on our list is Folsom, California. Now, Folsom is gonna be about 25 miles east of Sacramento, right along Highway 50. And here's why Folsom keeps coming out on top for a lot of people. It doesn't do just one thing great, it does everything extremely well. And that combination is genuinely rare. So I'm out here at Lake Natoma right now. This is a Tuesday. You know, you can pop out here, it's super quick. You get the Golden Poppy Pass for $125 for the year, get you access to Folsom Lake, Lake Natoma. Historic Folsom is right over there. It's one of the most popular destinations in the entire region. You have locally owned restaurants, coffee shops, boutique, wine bars, community events. There's plenty of times that I shut down Sutter Street when I was in my early 20s. That is the place to go when you're, heck, it's the place to go right now, but it's the place to go in your early 20s. You got a historic district that feels completely alive. They got the Folsom Pro Rodeo that's coming on. You've got Rainbow Bridge back there behind me with the American flag. Historic district, it still feels completely alive. Now, this isn't a preserved block that looks good on a postcard, but it feels awesome on a Tuesday, right? Where I'm at right now. So people actually use it every single weekend, every single weekday. Then you have the other side of town, which you've got the Palladio, you've got premier shopping, dining, fitness, movie theaters, seasonal events. So it definitely becomes a lifestyle hub for the entire eastern part of Sacramento. So the one thing that I'll say that this is kind of where Folsom really separates itself from everybody else is going to be the outdoor access. You've got Folsom Lake and Lake Natoma. You've got boating, paddleboarding, kayaking, fishing, cycling, hiking, all year round. You've got over 50 miles of paved recreational trails. So Folsom is one of the most bike-friendly, outdoor-oriented communities in the entire region. Now, we've had people that have come in, sat in on Roseville or El Dorado Hills, and they spend time walking down historic Folsom by the Palladio. They drive past some of these lakes, they see the trails. This entire area on a Saturday and Sunday, you have crawdads on the lake right on the top of the bluffs. That just got refinished. It used to be the old Cliff House. But they spend one afternoon in Folsom. They drive past the lake, they see the trails, and their whole search shifts. Now, I will say some of the pros to Folsom is you've got some of the best school districts in the entire region. You've got close proximity to outdoor access and all of that stuff. Now, the trade-offs is going to be the price point. Now, when we're talking to people and they're thinking about moving to Folsom and they look at, you know, what their dollar gets them, a lot of what you're paying for is not just in the home, but it's in the lifestyle, it's in the area. So the trade-offs here is definitely going to be the price. If you've got a budget of $700K, what you get in Folsom for $700K isn't going to feel like it's as new or nice or updated as something in Roseville for $700K. You do have quite a disparity. Like I said, you do have a really excellent school district. The football team is always killer every year at Folsom High. Vista Del Lago is always killer as it relates to academics and sports. Each one of them has their shining stars for different things, but both high schools, both middle schools, and all the elementaries are still gonna be killer schools. Now, Folsom isn't going to always be the most affordable option on the list, so depending on your commute, you're driving to other parts of the Sacramento region, it all can take a little bit longer. So Folsom is probably going to be equally as far from downtown Sacramento as, let's say, like a Roseville or a Rockland. So your commute can be a little bit farther on this side. Your commute to the airport can be a little bit farther on this side. But if you don't have to commute for a whole lot, you know, Folsom's got kind of the complete package. If you want shopping, if you want dining, if you want outdoor recreation, trail access, lake access, historic character, and you've got newer master plan communities on the south side of 50 in Folsom Ranch area, and it's all in one place, it's easy to understand why Folsom continues to come in at #1. So there you have it, 10 of the most popular places to live in the entire Sacramento region, from Placerville and Auburn in the foothills, Rancho Cordova, Natomas, and Lincoln in the growth corridors, Elk Grove, El Dorado Hills, all the way through Rockland, Roseville, and Folsom. And here's the honest truth. We've lived in a lot of these places personally, and we've helped a lot of you guys from the YouTube channel move here from a professional standpoint. There is no single best place to live in Sacramento. The best place for you depends on your lifestyle, your family, your weekends, your commute, and what you actually need on a day-to-day basis. So most people can figure that out after one conversation with somebody who actually knows the area, and they can figure that out after their first recon trip. So that's what we're here for, whether you're coming from the Bay Area, Southern California, out of state, or you're already local and you're planning your next move. We would love to be your real estate team of choice. So give us a phone call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, or better yet, scan that QR code to book your strategy session. Our info is going to be down in the description and pinned in the chat. And if you're not quite ready yet, that's perfectly fine. Keep doing your research right here on the channel. There's going to be playlists that pop up after this video that goes deeper on every single one of the communities that we covered today. We've got community tours, neighborhood breakdowns, and what it's actually like to live here. Everything that you need to build your real picture of making the move to Sacramento, or if it's even the right move to make your move to the Sacramento region. So go check that out, and we will see you on the next one.